Hey folks, Mark here, RC Crawling and Micro Aviation Adventures. There's the producer of my channel, Mr. Jimmy Thomas. That's right, and behind him are the E-Flight floats I just got. Let's get the glare off the box. There's the E-Flight UMX floats I just got. And I'm in the car, and there's my beloved little UMX Carbon Cub Sport 2 right there, parked. And as you can see, I darked out her windshield and did it for the little quarter window in the back, windshield, top window, overhead window. Yeah, I think she looks a little bit more scale that way, personally, and cool. But, you know, it's a matter of taste. They're all cool. No matter, everybody's ideas are cool. So there you go. So that's the bird. And so, you can see the big old bush tires on there, but you can also see the floats. And that's what we're going to do right now. We're going to put on the floats on this sweet little bird and deal with the CG issues and stuff. Alright, so there are the instructions that come with the floats right here. Oh, focusing. That's so nice when it works out like that. So there you go. It shows upper right shows you get some struts and you get a couple floats, and it shows you the assembly. Install the front wide loop at top and rear struts in the blocks A, according to the diagram. Have the left and right floats marked left and right. Fine. We'll just do an overview now and then we'll do it. And then we got install the spreader wires in the blocks behind the front and rear struts. Spreader wire is to be on the outside of the landing gear wires. Install and tighten the 4 screws. And that's it. That's basically it. So that's cool. Okay, so then you get, here's what you get when I, with the plane itself, not with the floats, but with the plane, I got this hardware. There we go. You're getting some focus. So I got this hardware, which sure does appear to be floats hardware, or maybe it's just spare landing gear hardware, which probably is the same for floats or tires, but we'll find out. Okay, and then with the floats specifically, I got this little bag here. Yeah, unfold it, easier to see. And there obviously are your main struts, and then, you know, the non-straight ones, your main struts. Then your spreader struts are the straight ones, and some more hardware in there. Yeah, some more hardware in there. Okay. So let us start out by dumping out carefully. I got a paper towel here to make sure I don't lose anything. Man, I hate nothing. Well, let's put it this way. I sure hate it when I lose parts. Out. There we go. Hey, fell anything remaining? Yes, the struts are still in there. Out. Okay, so the bag is now empty. Let us confirm it. Yep. Alright, so there's a spreader. Sorry about the handheld camera, folks. Low budget production here. New channel, small channel, but passionate channel. Here we go. So there's a spreader, and there's a spreader. Here, let's try this again. Spreader. Let's lay these out in some kind of an, you know, reasonable order here. So there's 2 spreaders there. Okay, and then we've got the struts themselves. Let's see if they're identical or not. Yeah, no, they're not. That's good. See, this one has the width of the of where you plug this into the airplane on this one is narrower than. Let's get these little bags out of the way. You can see here that the there you go. Here's a good way to show it. There you go. You can see that the very dead center of the screen there, you can see that on the lower strut, that's a smaller bend situation here, and on the top one it's wider, so that ought to line up with the underside of the fuselage, so that should be helpful. But first, and then we got, so there we go, we got our spreaders and we got our struts, and then we got our hardware, and the hardware is nothing but screws, little teeny tiny screws. Okay, fine. And then we got all this stuff here too. Well, then we got this stuff here too. Okay, so alright, so I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and follow this here. I'm going to go ahead and pause and start putting this together, and then I'll be right back. Alright folks, so the next step I did is I grabbed my my little struts, my main struts here, and as I mentioned before, this dead center screen there, you see there's a some bend there, a little, it's the install portion of the strut. Well, you can see one of them is wider and one of them is narrower. The one I've got installed on the floats is the wider one, per the instructions. It says to, first of all, it shows, come on now, you can focus really. There we go. It shows that the front one, dead center screen, it shows that the front one has a wider top part and that the rear one has a narrower top part. It also shows that the front one plugs in from the front, right? And then beneath that front one, after you've plugged it in, you're going to then plug in a spreader bar from the front, too. All right. So since it's two, I wouldn't be able to do it one-handed. I'm going to put this on pause and then I'll show you what we got. All right, folks. So I just I put in the strut part first, the triangular shaped strut first, from the front into the little slot there. Now there's a hole behind the slot, and then I put the spreader in after the strut and from the front also. And right now I've got it just sitting so everything's in place. Now you can see the tiny hole there where a screw is going to go, one there and one there. So we're going to pause them and install those screws and be right back. Alright folks, I looked at the hardware, and the way I figured out which screws were the right ones for the floats, which is those, is that here, what was I going to say? Oh, here. These little guys here, there's 4 of these little tiny guys here, and 2 holes on each. So that means to install these, you're going to need 2, 4, 6, 8 screws. Okay. Well, this is a set of 5, which is 4 plus a spare, I believe. And this is a set of 8. So that tells me that this set of 8 screws is going to be used for this bit of hardware with 8 holes. That tells me those are the ones we want. So, and they'll go right down the top, right down that little hole, right down there. So we'll do that and I'll be right back. Oh, I didn't mention earlier that very important, and I missed this once previously on a previous model. If you see to the left there, there's the letter R upside down. And over to the right is the letter L upside down. Well, you got to make sure you orient, that's for left and right floats. So they're telling you that the one labeled R is to be the right float, and the one labeled L is to be the left float. That's so the struts and everything the strut installation and stuff will go according to plan. All right, so I'll be right back. All right, folks, well, I got to tell you that my earlier reasoning and comment was totally wrong. I reasoned that because there was 8 screws of this kind, that those went for this hardware, which has 8 holes. Wrong. Totally wrong. Actually, it was right. Excuse me. Let me backtrack. I was correct on that, and that was those are the correct screws. The ones that I pulled out, the 5, which is here, one of these. Out of the 5 that I pulled out and showed earlier, which is this, these are the correct screws. The trouble I discovered when trying to install them is that the holes here, right here, it'll get the light back on, there we go, the hole there that the screw goes into, and I'll show you the same hole on the back. See that? The hole that the screw goes into is way too small for this screw, way too small. So I had to take a little teeny tiny standard screwdriver and basically remount the hole to make it wide enough to accept the screw. And then when I did that, well, then I got her installed and she's good and snug. So we'll do the rest of it and come right back. Hey folks, we're back. Oh my gosh, it's difficult to work with these itty bitty teeny tiny, super teeny, really teeny screws. Yeah, in order to get the screws to go down far enough to install all the way and hold the struts and spreaders securely, I had to remount those holes quite a bit. Even then, it was a heck of a job to get those screws to go all the way down and lock tied up with the struts. And I now recall that was my previous UMX floats, but that's all right. So we got our part way done now. So all I got to do is put in the screws here and here, which will take a while, and then we'll be right back. But that's the thing, man. It's the bigger screws, and you get 5 of them. One's a spare, I'm assuming. And yeah, you got to remount those holes. You got to remount those holes there. I pre-reamed those there. There's center screen. I pre-reamed that one. Yeah, I pre-reamed that one. And then those are installed. Looking good. Okay, be right back. Okay, folks. Yay! Finally, after some fiddling, I finally completed the build, if you will, of the floats themselves. Got the main struts, forward and aft, spreaders, screws down tight. Now, I told you had to ream out the holes, otherwise the screws did not go flush and contact and hold in place the struts. So on this one, I couldn't get the screw to go all the way tight. There you go. So I had to wrap it with some duct tape. But it's waterproof duct tape, and that'll do it. That'll do the job. All right, so that's pretty cool. All right, they're quite long, quite a narrow, right? But they're quite long. All right, so we'll put that down. I'm gonna get started on we got to put the mounts on the plane, so I'll show you that in a second. All right, folks. So the next step here is to carefully remove and retain the landing gear from the fuselage. So I'm gonna do that, and I shall be right back again. All right, removing the landing gear couldn't be more straightforward. All you do is just squeeze the struts, squeeze the wheels inward, and gently wiggle and slide her out of that slot that's at center screen there. Focusing. Oh, focus! Come on! All right. Utterly ridiculous. Let me turn on the light. Seriously, come on. Oh, damn it. Okay. Anyway, what am I trying to say? Oh, yeah, there's a center screen. There's a slot already there. That's for the front of the floats. And then I got to install these in the back, so I'm going to do that and be right back. Be right back. All right, folks. Well, I should have known, but the holes to install the rear, the aft float mount scene center screen, those also, the holes are too small. Much too small, so I had to ream those out to get those in, but I finally did. Now, you're supposed to CA that in too, and it's an hour-and-a-half drive for me to get some CA. So I'm just going to throw a little piece of, it's fitting real snug, it's screwing on there real snug, but for safety they want you to do CA, so I think I'll just, since this is white foam here, no paint to mar, I think I'll just lay a little strip of duct tape here, and that'll ensure that it'll hold for now. However, right now I think we can go ahead and stick these floats on here. Let me get the light back on the camera. Light on. Hello. Responding to me today? Not going to respond. Oh, battery's too low for me to get flash. Okay, that's fine. All right, so here we go. Floats, airplane, and put the floats like this. And so let's see if they'll just pop in there. Wouldn't that be nice and convenient if these were just gonna pop in there? But let's find out. What do you think, Jimmy? My dog. What do you think, Jimmy? Jimmy, there's the top of his head. All right, so here we go. Let's come over here. All right, so first we got to get our floats oriented the correct way. Front of the floats, front of the airplane. All right, now we'll put in this one. Okay, the first. Let's see, this is not going to quite work. We're going to have a different angle here. So let us try this. I think I have an idea. I think I've got an idea here, folks. I'm going to put my hat here. Boink! I'm going to put the airplane on the hat like this. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, we're getting high budget production now. All right, so now, airplane, floats. All right, so we'll install the front one first. Can we get focus? We can focus, yay. All right, so move my little wire back a little bit, and I got to go into that slot there with the front of these cool little floats to have clearance where I've got the plane sitting right now. Let's see. Actually, well, there we go. I needed to move it back, but let's move it back intentionally here. Move it back a little bit. Let's see. We got to keep the tail rudder and whatnot off of things, don't we? Yeah, we do. Okay, hold on 1 second, folks. I apologize for this. Let me put something under her. Oh, I got this thing. Just a thing here. Gonna use the camera to slide a roll of duct tape over here for the tail to rest in. Yeah, I think that's pretty good. Okay, now floats. Where's the floats? Floats are up there. Okay, here we go. No, the light won't go on. Okay, here we go. Now let's get this thing installed one-handed. Okay, so yeah, now we're getting some focus. All right, so push the wire off to the side if I can. Let's bend it over the side, actually. Bend it over to the side. Man, I love RC. I love working on them. I don't like having to work on them because they got issues, but you know, I like doing stuff like this a lot. Okay, so we're just focus. All right, so we're just dropping this front float part into that slot right there. How about from above? How about a top view? There we go. There we go, right in there. Like that. Okay, so there's the front one in place. Not secured, but it's in place. We are making progress, ladies and gents. Okay, and then the rear one. The rear one is going to have to be tweaked a little bit here. Just got to push that forward a little bit to get. Are we getting focus? Now we are. Got to push it forward a little bit to get into that slot. Can't see. All right, this is gonna be a two-handed deal. I'll pause and be right back and see you in a second. All right, folks, I just got that snapped into place, which is the rear focusing. Any focusing gonna happen around here? Yep, just got the rear mount done there. There we go. Now I got to put the little securing deals on there, and then I'll do the front one. Be right back. Okay, folks, getting those little keepers there installed, as you see center screen. Be right back. All right, folks, so front one's installed, ready to rock and roll. Rear one, I made a mistake. I put the screws in there too soon, because those screws those screws hold these little itty bitty right there, that little itty bitty piece at the center of the screen. There. That goes in there. So I'll be right back, fix that up. Alright, folks, as you can see, the screw holes do not match up. See how crooked those screws are? Big pain. Be right back. Alright, folks, finally got these darn floats installed. Let me tell you, it was such a pain in the behind, in my opinion, to install these, that I sure as heck don't want to take them off and then reinstall them later. No way. So in all honesty, I'm going to buy another one of these planes and fly it as a bush plane with the bush wheels and tires on it. Let me get the light on. Oh, I can't have the light. No, it's dark too. Low battery. Anyway, I'm going to get a whole nother one of these for $159, ready to fly. Use these this landing gear and these tires with it. That'll be my bush version of the Sport Cub S2. This one here, because it's such a royal pain to install these floats. The screws are so insanely tiny. Can we get a focus? No. Come on. Oh, this camera sucks. Come on now, please, really. Gosh. Anyway, these screws are so dang tiny. Oh, it's hell to work with. And also the holes are drilled too close together, so that the only way you can get them... The holes are too far apart in the plane, too close together in the little gray plastic hardware that you see there. So you have to drive the screws in at an angle. Now this part here, the rear mount has to be put in with CA. I got to drive an hour and a half to get that, so I'm using duct tape for now. All right, so there it is. Now let me set this down for a second momentarily, and then we'll just kind of take a look at it. Whoa! See how she looks with the floats on now. There you go. I'm sorry I don't have more light, but she looks darn cool, folks. Darn cool with the floats on. Seriously, wow. Oh yeah, wow, nice. Alright then. Okay, so next is, not surprisingly, the Floats Flight Maiden. Oh, that's going to look bad. That's going to look cool. Alright, folks, so we'll set this down here. Again, carefully. Alright. Oh, come on. No, come on. Alright. Alright, there you go, folks. Floats installed. Pain in the behind, but it's going to be sure fun to fly with them. Thanks for watching. This is Mark at RC Crawling and Micro Aviation Adventures. Signing off for now. Got the floats on the Sport Cub S2. Yeehaw!